Tom Arthur, followed by Daniel Johnson.
Thank you, Presiding Officer. I'm glad to have the opportunity to participate in this debate this afternoon, recognising UN International Migrants Day. It gives us an opportunity collectively to participate across the globe in recognising the contribution that migrants make to our culture, to our economies, to our universities, to society. It also gives us an opportunity to reflect upon those migrants who have been lost in transit. It gives us an opportunity to reflect not just on the impact in the countries where migrants end up, but also the countries they transit through and the countries they come from. It gives us an opportunity to reflect on those who do not leave, the families that are left behind, and that is something in Scotland we can have a lot of rich historical experience of, all the blood that flew away. I noticed that she's not in her chair. Sandra White touched on the International Organisation for Migration, which is celebrating its 65th anniversary this year. And I think it's worth recounting what the original name of that organisation was. It was the Committee for European Migration. This was an organisation that grew out of the ashes of the Second World War, and its purpose was to help and assist displaced people. And I think it's worth remembering that because it's such a vivid illustration of the consequences, or potential consequences, of a fractured Europe. I think also it's worth noting one of the last debates we'll be having in this place before the Christmas recess, that 2016 has been a year of seismic political events. The global liberal order, as Tavish Scott alluded to, has been shook to its foundations, and on all of those occasions, migration has been at the heart of those debates. Within the UK, we had Brexit. This was a campaign which was originally predicated upon the notion of sovereignty, but it quickly degraded into the demonisation of migrants. The spectators' Brexit butterfly did a first. It transmorgified back into a slug. We saw in the United States a president elected in a campaign whose central planks were the deportation of millions of migrants, the building of a wall to keep migrants out, and a commitment to ban celebrants of the world's second largest faith, the mental in the United States. And it underlines the point about the importance of language. We see the consequences that language can have, and if I could say very gently to Liam Kerr, I think he should reflect upon the rhetoric of his own party, calling for companies to be named and shamed for foreign workers, treating people as bargaining chips, and failing to guarantee the rights of EU nationals here in the UK. Perhaps he should reflect on that before coming to this chamber and lecturing people in dog whistle politics. Now, I want to touch on something that Ross Greer alluded to. He spoke about right-wing tabloids, and 2016 has also been the year of post-truth politics. This is an interesting expression, post-truth. I think at one point in the past we would have just called it a lie. But I'm going to entertain it for a moment. I'm going to use some of that philosophical training I got in university and tie it into some postmodernism, because what post-truth is about is it's about a dogmatic relativism. It's where everything is accorded equal status and facts and evidence disappear. We've seen this in debates in the United States on creationism and intelligent design. We've seen it in debates about climate change. But we see it in debates about migration because how often do we hear the concrete, rational, empirical case for migration? It is so rarely. We only hear it in this chamber. We see the headlines, we see the scare stories. But when we actually bring some clarity to it, when we really consider what the impact of migration is. In Scotland, for example, of Scotland's 369,000 migrants from outside of the UK, they're mostly young, they're economically active, and they're highly qualified. As the Minister highlighted, migrants are more likely to be in work than most people born in Scotland. And migrants are not responsible for wage suppression. This myth has to be debunked once and for all. Globalisation, automation, they do have a role to play, but the solutions also to be found in globalisation. It's to be found through freedom of movement. Alexander Stewart touched upon the opportunities of Brexit, And I recalled what Mike Russo had said in Parliament a few weeks ago when confronting these issues. And he quoted from an article from, or paraphrased from an article from Mihir Sharmal, and he said in which the reality is that the economies of the future are based on people and ideas, but the UK cannot become that type of economy because of its obsession with migration. Another point that's been made is the important role that migrants play in our health and social care sector. Within the Health and Sport Committee, we've had evidence suggesting it would collapse without the role that migrants play. And we know that one of the key challenges we face is that of an ageing population. But it's worth remembering, 1 in 5 of UK-born people living in Scotland are retired, but only 1% of migrants. There is much more I could say in this debate, but I wanted to join in showing solidarity with EU citizens living in Scotland and indeed across the UK, and to those migrants coming to Scotland to call it home, Céad Míle Fáilte.